A predator. No venom, no webs, none of the usual weapons we expect from a spider. Just powerful jaws that slice through prey and speed so fast you'll miss it in a blink. People call it the desert monster. Solitary, mysterious, and almost impossible to tame. This is it, the camel spider Solifugi, and I'm about to tell you how I got one. Yeah, pretty reckless. Welcome, insect ecosystem. Curiosity got the best of me, so I ordered one online. And not just any, this one's a big one. Awesome, now it's just a waiting game. The excitement kept building every single day. As long as nothing unexpected happens, everything should go according to plan. It needed a home. That's right, I'd build one. Time to get started. I'd need things like moss, soil, driftwood, and plants to make a little rainforest-style setup. So yeah, I had to go shopping for all that. Let's go. Now, with almost everything ready, it was time to build. In my hands were acrylic sheets for the tank, and just like that, boom, I fixed them together into a frame. This piece of driftwood would become Nick's hideout. I trust driftwood. It's sturdy enough to keep my pets safe during molting without collapsing or rotting. Next, I added some biosubstrate. I used coconut fiber. It drains well, but still holds moisture. At this point, it already looked like a tiny forest, maybe 80% close to what I'd imagined. I was really happy with how it turned out. Now, I'd cover the hide with soil, then top it off with moss. Too lazy to grab a bucket, I just used a bowl, a little water, mix it up, and done. I pressed the soil over the hide. Since moss holds moisture and slows mold growth, I spread it across the top layer. Oh wait, problem. Not enough soil. I had to pack in more, around the sides of the hide. Okay, now it was good. Ta-da! Finally, my creation was done. Maybe not the prettiest setup, but definitely a safe place for it. 10 days later, my phone rang. Of course, I rushed out to grab the delivery. I was sure it was my new pet. I just can't hide my excitement and curiosity anymore. Could this be the special delivery I've been waiting for? Holding the package in my hands, I was convinced it was the camel spider. I hurried inside, ready to open it. Couldn't wait. At first, all I saw was dirt in the box. Maybe it was hiding underneath. Better check. It looked strong and healthy, legs intact, and it was even digging into the soil right away. Wow, Nick looked so cool. That's the name I'd picked for it. The back end of its body almost wriggled like a worm. Using tweezers, I carefully placed it in the tank. I wasn't ready to touch it yet. It started wandering around, exploring, even climbed up on the hide. Honestly, it seemed curious, maybe even excited. Then it dug straight into the soil, digging fast. That's clearly its natural behavior. I could tell the shipping had been tough on it. So I dropped in a mealworm to test Nick's hunting skills. After a quick chase, the worm was already locked in its jaws. Look at those jaws, like crab claws. Pretty funny, actually. It chewed on the worm with gusto, though not exactly at lightning speed. What if I tossed in a red runner? Would this predator take it down? I dropped one in. They chased each other for a bit. And yeah, the red runner ended up as dinner. Nick crunched away, adapting fast. It hadn't refused a single meal yet. Honestly, it seemed easier to keep than people had warned me. Don't look away. Let's keep following the days I spent caring for Nick. Days later. Oh my god, the tank was empty. No spider. Where could it have gone? My heart sank. I didn't want to lose it. Panic was setting in. Wait. Hold on. Something was moving under the soil. Turns out it had just burrowed deep. Scared me for a second. I thought it had escaped. Guess it was playing hide and seek. I didn't think it could lift the lid, but it actually could. The one thing I never expected happened. Pretty wild. I watched it for a while, curious about how it had changed after all this time together. Still the same. Eats well, sleeps a lot, and loves digging. I even made a little menu of its favorite foods. Unlike most spiders, it doesn't have hairy legs. Its lower body actually looks a lot like a worm. Nick tore up all the moss above its hide, like a little destroyer. Messy, but it gave me an idea. This tank feels a bit small. I wanted to have more space to crawl, dig, and hunt. Do you think I should switch tanks even if it means it has to adjust to a new environment? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I decided to build it a new tank. Pretty quick decision, right? Let's get to work. For the new setup, I planned a hexagon-shaped tank, larger this time. Nick would probably love it. I already had leftover supplies from before, so I just needed a few missing pieces. The basics would stay the same. I wanted to keep things simple since I'm still new to this. The first tank didn't have foam at the base, but this one would. Then soil and a hide. Let's see if it tries to dig through the foam. Add a few plants, and done. Ta-da! This was Nick's perfect new home. Plenty of space to grow. Should I add a female in here for fun? Not sure yet. Stay tuned. Before moving it in, I wanted to interact with it a little. Wow, not nearly as scary as I'd imagined. It crawled over me like it was exploring my body. Look at that. It actually seemed to enjoy being outside. It kept wandering around curiously, just like a kid exploring something new. Looks pretty fierce, but without venom. It's really not dangerous at all. It's feeding time for Nick. I've set a pretty clear routine for him. I dropped in a dubia roach. It bolted, so I placed it back, and then Nick slowly dragged it into the hide and bit its head right off. Such an eater. Many days later, oh my god, I just discovered something serious. It could push the lid open by itself. If this keeps up, it might escape for good. Gotta close it tight. Back in the small tank, it had already done this once. Luckily, it didn't get far that time. I had the feeling it really wanted out. All right, come on out. By now, I wasn't scared of it at all. I let it crawl on my hand. At first, I was nervous, but now I actually enjoyed it. Okay, time to go back inside. What was it looking for? I think it just really wanted to get out. So I took it outside for a change of scenery. Like giving my pet a little trip, but I couldn't help thinking, should I let it go back to the wild? I'd grown attached to it. Out here, it looked happy. I figured it'd love being in this forest. I left the tank there. Honestly, I didn't want to see it leave because I'd probably try to hold on to it.
A few moments later.
When I came back, it was gone. Keeping it had brought me joy and fresh experiences, but I knew it would thrive more in the wild. I didn't want to keep it trapped in a small, safe space. It deserved to live free. And yeah, that's what we both wanted. So I let it go, right here in the forest. This is the domain of a peculiar creature. Not tall, not mighty, without weapons, without a voice, yet more successful than any species that has ever walked this planet. They, with over 14,000 species, not only survive, but also thrive, expand, and persist for over 150 million years. And in that microscopic world, where the seeds of life are sown, Messer Laboriosus and Messer Structor continue to write a story spanning millions of years, with the very rhythm of their steps. An industrious farmer always on the move, or a quiet, organized architect. Who do you think is smarter? Who is more efficient? Which species is more successful? Which species will survive longer if the world changes? Welcome back to Ant Trek. I once raised 2 colonies, Laboriosus and Structor, for half a year. You can check it out right here. And this one too. So many fascinating things have already happened. Now let's take a closer look at how this tiny creature manages to survive harsh conditions and still grow into such a powerful force of nature. Like other ant species, queen ants of both the Structor and Laboriosus varieties seek romance with male ants in the air after rain. Afterward, the males die, and the queens in their grief chew off their wings and seclude themselves in the deepest, darkest places. They painfully shed their wings to conserve energy, and indeed, they no longer need them to establish their empires. The first batch of their offspring is usually around 5 to 15 eggs. Which species will build its empire faster? Before we answer that, let's see which species has the bigger queen. The queen of Laboriosus averages 12 to 14 millimeters in length and will lay her eggs 5 to 7 days after mating. Both of our queens will continue laying eggs continuously for 10 to 13 consecutive years. The larger Laboriosus starts laying its first clutch later. The smaller Structor begins laying its first clutch sooner. After about 10 days, the eggs from both species, each only around 0.5 millimeters, hatched into larvae. At this stage, they can move slightly and start feeding, but they still can't walk. Their size is roughly the same for both species, ranging from 1.5 to 2 millimeters. Once they pupate, their bodies grow to about 3 to 4 millimeters in length. After 1 month, the first worker ants of Laboriosus were born. They're still weak and curious about everything around them. Look at them, like tiny little babies, but don't underestimate them. Their instincts tell them to protect and care for their queen at all costs, a child fully devoted to its mother. Meanwhile, the first Structor workers actually hatched a day earlier. They came out sooner, but they're noticeably smaller. Looks like they'll need to eat a bit more if they want to grow as big and strong as their Laboriosus cousins. As you can see, these two species look almost identical in size and shape, like true sisters. So what sets them apart? In ideal conditions, ant colonies thrive, but nature doesn't always cooperate. Climate change is making temperatures more unpredictable. Messer ants prefer hot, dry weather. Below 20 degrees Celsius, their metabolism slows. The Structor queen stops laying eggs, and that's dangerous. Laboriosus queens do the same, but their workers still go out unless it's too cold. But what happens when it drops below 16 degrees Celsius? Can the colony adapt, or will it collapse? Unpredictable weather and sudden rainstorms cause temperatures to drop and humidity to spike. My Structor colony responded by retreating into the nest, where it's warmer and much safer than the outside. This is where they care for their larvae and eggs. The larvae are kept separate from the eggs because leftover food can grow mold, and that could be deadly for the eggs. The Laboriosus colony doesn't overthink it. Look at this. Everything's grouped in one spot for easier care. Honestly, I think it makes things simpler. But what do you think? Larvae need a certain amount of protein to grow. So even though they're seed eaters, they still have to hunt. The Structor colony is cautious by nature. They won't attack unless there's a real threat. Escaping and conserving energy is always the top priority. But when an intruder enters the nest, it's a whole different story. Alarm pheromones are released, and the result is exactly what you'd expect. No one gets near the larvae or the queen. Laboriosus ants attack any intruder without hesitation. Though they eat seeds, they still hunt small prey for the queen and larvae. One worker even stuffed a larva inside a cockroach. Brutal! Who knew a seed-eating species could be so aggressive and crave meat like that? Structor is cautious and prioritizes safety. Laboriosus is aggressive, efficient, and brutal when hunting. In the wild, they usually eat their prey right after the hunt. But now, with the weather colder than they can handle, they have to rush back to the nest. That's the safest place to be right now. So, let's take a look inside. What makes each nest different? The laboriosus colony doesn't build a huge nest, but their organization is tight and impressively structured. The queen starts digging her nest just days after mating, creating a space to lay her eggs. Once the first workers are born, they take over and begin expanding the nest, adding a seed storage chamber within the first month. After 4 months, the colony grows stronger and builds trash chambers and more brood rooms. And after a full year, the nest might reach up to 40 separate rooms. Throughout all of this, they always dig the queen's chamber in the deepest part of the nest. Smart and cautious, right? The nest isn't massive, but their division of labor and organization is incredibly well structured. The structor colony, on the other hand, builds a much larger nest compared to most ant species. Just like laboriosus, it takes them about a year to complete it. And when it comes to scale, even humanity's greatest architectural feats, the Great Wall, Angkor Wat, the pyramids, would have to be combined just to match the complexity of the home built by these tiny creatures. After 2 months, seed and larva rooms are added. By month 4, resting areas and trash chambers. After a year, up to 50 chambers. It's equal to 5 football fields combined. Pretty incredible. So we can clearly see that the laboriosus colony builds a smaller nest, but with a much tighter, more organized layout compared to structor. Each colony has its own strengths. And here's a cool fact. In messer species, seed storage chambers can make up nearly 40% of the entire nest. For the laboriosus colony, protein is just a small part of their diet. Their main food source is seeds, so it's the job of the younger workers to gather as many as possible. They store tons of seeds as backup for tough times. Turning them into ant bread takes a surprisingly smart process. It's their way of surviving bad weather and food shortages. Smart strategy, strong empire. The structor empire is similar. They're strict seed eaters and rarely hunt. They store even more than laboriosus, with over 40% of the nest for seeds. But unlike laboriosus, they skip complex processing and just eat them as is. When it comes to collecting and processing seeds, they're pretty similar. But what happens when a predator shows up? Laboriosus keeps guards posted even in harsh conditions. Fights are almost guaranteed, but these ants are always ready to strike back. When an intruder is detected, laboriosus patrols instantly release alarm pheromones to alert the entire colony. An ant quickly rushes in to confront the threat, but on its own, there's not much it can do. But when the whole colony joins, they swarm and drive the intruder out with sheer numbers. Laboriosus can quickly drive out and overwhelm intruders, but structor is different. They avoid conflict, but once the enemy breaches the nest, everything changes. Inside, workers evacuate to protect the brood and queen. While above, tiny warriors close in on the threat and attack with their lives. At all costs, the intruder must be expelled. No matter how strong, nothing can withstand these suicide defenders. Giving their lives to protect the colony, that's how structor fights. Laboriosus stops the attack before it even begins. So what do you think? Mesor laboriosus and Mesor structor are 2 harvester ant species representing contrasting survival strategies. Laboriosus are slightly larger in size, develop slowly, reproduce less, and have a tight, efficient nest organization. They are aggressive and brutal hunters with high endurance, but they are difficult to keep in artificial environments. On the other hand, structor reproduce quickly, are highly productive, develop rapidly, and adapt easily. Although they hunt less and have a less streamlined organization, they store more seeds and build larger nests. In summary, laboriosis pursue a sustainable strategy, stable and resilient, while structure choose a path of rapid, flexible growth to dominate their environment. Low temperatures are harsh for messer ants. Laboriosis fights with fury. Structure survives with grit. But the cold stopped both queens from laying eggs, and their colonies weakened.
Imagine you're thrown into a miniature battlefield where thousands of warriors move like a flood, their jaws gleaming, ready to crush any enemy in their way. No, this isn't a scene from a sci-fi movie or a medieval battle. This is the everyday life of Caribara diversa, a species of ant with a massive army and some seriously impressive battle tactics. But what makes them one of the most fearsome and intelligent warriors in the insect world? Let's find out. Welcome to Antric. At the head of this kingdom is none other than the Queen Babymaker, the ultimate VIP. Her job, cranking out citizens at lightning speed to expand her mighty empire. And the worker ants? Don't think they're just grunts standing guard at the gates. They are tactical bodyguards, always on high alert to protect the boss. When danger strikes, they launch a defense strategy like a special ops unit, ready to fight till their last breath. Curious about how they protect the queen? Drop a comment and Antric will explain it to you. Caribara diversa is a super organized ant species, famous for its massive army and incredibly smart battle, survival, and teamwork tactics. To prove this, Antric brings you the first challenge, lift or fall. I've got a fish tank set up and added a sheet of Formex inside. To secure this sheet, I've tightened it with fur wires and sealed it with glue, so don't worry, it's not going anywhere. Next to me is another Formex sheet acting as a bridge, giving the ants a way to climb. The challenge is simple. If they can get past this, they'll get a secret prize. Can you guess what this is? But if they fail, well... The prey in this scenario is a cricket, weighing 1,000 times more than a worker Caribara ant. But don't worry, these ants can totally handle it. Each ant can lift 50 times its body weight, and when the whole colony works together, even a giant cricket doesn't stand a chance. The worker ants quickly catch the scent of the prey and start climbing the bridge, looking down and assessing the position of the wire, skillfully moving across it. They may be small, but they're powerful. Fast, agile, and with waistline moves that are simply awe-inspiring. The whole colony swiftly moves up the bridge to the target. The cricket is soon surrounded by them, and they begin dragging it away. Oh, the glorious moment! Can a small wire really hold the entire colony and get the prey safely across? Wait, my ants have already lost half of them. Some have sacrificed themselves, while others are giving it their all. Each ant has its own role, but I'm still trying to understand how they coordinate. What did you notice about their teamwork? Drop a comment below and let me know. Did you spot that soldier ant? It's using its sharp jaws to bite the cricket's head, locking it in a life or death grip. What's amazing is that a soldier ant can be 500 times heavier than the smallest workers. This is a true warrior among tiny soldiers. Their jaws are super strong, capable of lifting and dragging objects 50 to 100 times their own weight. But that's just what I've observed. Whether it's true or not, only this challenge will tell.
Just a little bit more, everyone! We're nearly there! Fighting, everyone!
And sure enough, one by one, they pull together, tightening the circle. Witnessing this, I can't help but be impressed. They're not only strong, but have more strategy than I ever imagined. They're all pushing to get the cricket up the bridge, but it seems they're struggling when trying to lift it onto the bridge surface.
1, 2, 3! 1, 2, 3!
Oh no! And they fail the first challenge.
Oh my god!
But wait, those ants that fell? They formed a floating raft. Can ants actually swim? What do you think caused this epic fail? Leave a comment to share your thoughts. For me, I think the height of the bridge made the challenge harder than expected, so I decided to lower it to be level with the tank's edge. Let's see if this gives them another shot to change their strategy and win. The prey is placed back and they're moving up again. One group is tasked with carrying the cricket, while the other is ready to help.
We're ready to support!
The colony surrounds the cricket. Wow! Fortunately, they're still holding strong, carrying the cricket across to the other side of the bridge like total pros. Oh my god, what happened?
Let's go! Everyone, keep it up and stay strong! We got this!
But oh no, they've overexerted themselves and now the situation's tense. I decide to give them a third and final chance. They're rearranging their team, and I didn't expect them to switch up tactics that fast. And once again, like, the ants just totally swarmed that cricket, you know? Like, they're putting all their little ant powers together to drag that cricket across the bridge again. Our little ants have learned their lesson this time. They're being much more careful, and way fewer of them are falling off. How clever is that? This time, instead of grabbing the cricket like last time, the ants decided to switch things up and bring in a massive team of worker ants lined up on the rope to make sure they really held onto their prey. No one's slacking off. With a steady rhythm, they slowly moved across the bridge, and this time, no accidents like last time. Oh, what? Turns out, these ants are truly one of the smartest insects out there. They had already cut up the cricket into smaller pieces to lighten the load, then carefully transported it across the bridge. What a clever and formidable strategy. They totally deserve this victory. Oh, absolutely. Let's hustle and grab those hard-earned goodies that our team sweated buckets for. Do you think this reward is worth their hard work? Let us know in the comments. Just one last piece and done. Next challenge, the Feast of Ants. Just a little distance away, for pots of honey are placed for different ant colonies. Camponotus largiceps, Camponotus irritans, yellow crazy ant, and Carabara diverser. Ever wondered which species is the ultimate foodie king? We're about to witness a one-of-a-kind showdown between these tiny but extremely hungry warriors. Over the next 2 hours, only one species will reign supreme as the foodie king. Who will win this battle of the stomachs? Opponent number 1, big-headed ants. Former building king, check out that first group. Size-wise, Camponotus largiceps seems to have the edge. Shape, giant head, powerful jaws like steel pincers. Specialty, nest building, crushing food. Favorite food, honey, sweet, delicious, and nutritious. Can Camponotus largiceps both eat and show off its muscles? Or will it get distracted by another species? Opponent number 2, Camponotus irritans, the most short-tempered warrior on Earth. They might look small, but they're aggressive as heck. Known for their temper, they're a fierce species that's always ready for a territorial defense. Irritans literally means irritating. Honey is their energy drink. Do you think Camponotus irritans has what it takes to be the champion? Or will its short temper cause it to lose focus on its meal? Opponent number 3, yellow crazy ant, the insane raiders. These ants move like they're on a mission to wreck everything in their path. They're quick, dangerous, and can destroy entire ecosystems. Food of choice, anything sweet. Doesn't matter where it came from as long as it's edible. They're diving into the feast like a storm. Do you think their lightning-fast eating speed will help them win? Or will they mess up their own strategy? Opponent number 4, Carabara diverser, the living tank of ants. Shape, the biggest size difference in the ant world. Soldier ants are huge, protecting the tiny workers. Specialty, soldier ants crush everything, guarding their teammates at all costs. Free food, you bet they won't pass that up. Can Carabara diversa win both the eating race and the battle? Seems like all 4 of our teams are diving in for the food. When free food falls from the sky, which ant wouldn't rush in? Come place your bets on which team will win with me.
Ready? Go!
The mandibles are grinding away at the food like machines. Which species do you think will win? If you were an ant, what strategy would you choose to speed up the whole colony? And who will be the king of the eating club? Time is ticking. 30 minutes. 1 hour, 2 hours. Wow, I can already catch a glimpse of today's winning team on the horizon. Let's zoom in and get a closer look. Unbelievable. The honey bowl of Carabara diverser is almost empty. Right behind them is Camponotus largiceps. This is so intense. Whose bowl is going to run dry first? Carabara diverser or Camponotus largiceps? And finally, Carabara has officially crossed the finish line first, while Camponotus largiceps still has just a bit of honey left. Congratulations to our champion, Carabara diverser. The eating club battle, the king has been crowned. After 2 hours of intense competition, where those sharp mandibles were working overtime, only one species managed to finish off all the honey the fastest. Wow, the champion's throne has been claimed. It's Camponotus largiceps, the giant with the mighty head. It's not the fastest ant, it's not the most aggressive, but it's the most persistent and durable one in this battle. Camponotus largiceps is officially crowned the ultimate eat champion. Is there a species strong enough to challenge Camponotus largiceps in the next battle? Leave a comment below. Like, share, and subscribe to Antric so you don't miss the next battles. Check out this video for more, and I see you in the next one.